Ibaraki Douji, a demon featured in the Tales of the Han period. In these tales, Ibaraki rampages Kyoto as one of Shuten Doji's most important servants, commanding a gang of demons from Mount Oe. Ibaraki and Shuten Doji aimed to overtake the capital. However, they were defeated by Minamoto no Yorimitsu, better known as Raiko, and his 4 vassals, the 4 Guardian Kings. And while they were defeated, Ibaraki Douji was able to escape. However, as we all know, Ibaraki escaped only to be bullied by the Fate Grand Order community in the Rashomon event. Now Ibaraki is back and is looking to team up with us, fellow masters. So this is going to be a guide on the 4-star Berserker Ibaraki Douji. Taking a look at Ibaraki's stats, we have a attack of 9,636 and an HP of 10,954. As 4-star Berserkers go, this does not put her very high in the lead. In terms of attack, she is barely higher than Frankenstein and Tamamo Cat, putting her almost near the end of that ladder. As for her hit points, it does put her in around the middle of the pack for the 4-star Berserker team. And while she is not topping either of the charts for attack or defense, this does allow her to be very balanced, being a middle of the pack 4-star Berserker. Moving on to her hidden stat and her deck, she does have a 1 quick 1 arts 3 buster deck, which does allow her to buster Brave Chain without the use of a Noble Phantasm. Her 1 quick card has 4 hits, her 1 art card has 2 hits, and her buster cards all deal 1 hit. Her extra attack does hit 5 times. In terms of NP gain, on attack she has 1.03% and on defense she has 5%. This does allow Ibaraki to have a moderately decent amount of NP gain without external factors. Her star weight of 10 and her star rate of 4.9 are not that amazing, but Berserkers are not meant to be in terms of star gain. Some of the traits to point out here are Servant, as well as Demonic, as well as Sky or Earth Servant. These will come into play when going up against people like Raiko, as well as Rama, and other people who do increased damage against demonic enemies. Now on to Ibaraki's skills. The first skill that we have is Demonic Nature of Oni A. This increases the attack of all allies for 3 turns and increases own NP strength for 3 turns. At rank 1, we are looking at a 10% attack increase and a 20% NP strength increase, and at level 10, we have a 20 and 30% increase respectively. Now, one of the fantastic things about this is that not only does it increase all of your attack, not only does it increase the attack of all your allies, but you get 3 turns of increased Noble Phantasm strength. Now, since Ibaraki does have a fairly decent NP gain, you may or may not be able to get off multiple NPs in this time. So the other thing is, maybe you are getting ready for your NP and you can't do it right now, but you want to get that attack increase, or you want to fire off an NP after you increase the attack of somebody else to get an NP off. This gives you the opportunity and the flexibility to fit this in anywhere in those 3 turns that you have. Now the next one is going to be Disengage A. This removes all debuffs and restores hit points. This is 1,000 at rank 1 all the way up to 2,500 at rank 10. This is nice because you can remove your debuffs and restore your own hit points, because as a Berserker she's going to be taking more damage. That means that this healing and debuff removal is a fantastic piece to her kit that makes makes her a little bit more defensive and stick around a little bit longer. Now, Morph A, this is very similar to Tamamo no Mei's skill. This increases your defense drastically for 1 turn and increases it overall for 3 turns. That's 30% and 10%, all the way up to 30% and 30%. So at rank 10, you're looking at a 60% increase in defense for 1 turn, 30% overall. As a berserker, again, this will very much help her stick around, fire off more noble phantasms, and do more damage. Now, her skill kit does make her very, very balanced. She's not geared towards exclusively towards defense or exclusively towards attack. She has a very, very well-rounded kit with the increased attack to everyone as well as the NP increase, and she also has some defensive units to stick around. Unfortunately, she does not have an evade or an invincibility, so if you are going to be getting hit by a massive noble phantasm, the Morph A is not going to do what some of the other defensive options would do. So a little bit of a double-edged sword here. Yes, she is balanced. However, she does not have any sort of hard counter by herself to noble phantasms or literal bosses coming to run her over. Now, in terms of passive skills, all she has is Madness Enhancement B, which is only 8%. So while it's something, it's not really that great. There's not too much else that she comes with except for that, but it's better than nothing. So moving on to the Noble Phantasm, the Great Grudge of Rashomon, and after the bullying that we have done to her, I am pretty sure that she has a very massive grudge. But let's take a look. I'm sure you've already seen it destroy your waivers, but let's take a look at this one more time. 関係にて立たれ、モデルシミの右腕は怪異となった。走れ、草原ビリ！羅生門大演技！ Alright, so what does this do? It deals significant damage to a single enemy, removes buffs, and decreases their defense for 3 turns on the overcharge. Now, since it's single target buster, this does have a 600% to 1000% at NP5 range, and the overcharge goes from 10% defense down to overcharge 5, reducing it by 50%. Now, this is going to be a very fantastic single target. This can remove things like invincibility, evade, defensive buffs to really hammer this home, and you would want to lead this off with a Brave Chain on your NP. That way you are removing all of their buffs and you are following up with extra damage. But I'm sure that we have all seen this more than enough times during the Rashomon event. Now let's get on to the Ascension Materials. We're taking a look at the Ascension Materials here. Not too bad. 6 octuplet crystals, 4 plumes, 7 plumes later on, so that's a total of 11 plumes. Not the worst. Could be better, could be worse. We've got 5 Chaos Claws, and we've got 4 Hearts of the Foreign God. For a 4-star, a little on the pricey side because plumes and hearts are always a little iffy. I don't like spending them, but it's not the worst. Now, coming on to her skills, this is a little bit tougher. You're looking at 8 Talons of Chaos. You're looking at 12 octuplet crystals, 40 Void Dust, which I am very, very low on Void Dust. So having to do 40 Void Dust per skill is really rough. And not only that, you've got 12 Tear Stones of Blood, and yeah, that is 36 Tear Stones. That is a lot of materials for a 4-star servant. A little pricey in terms of skills. Definitely want to prioritize your demonic nature of Oni first. I would say go Morph second and then Disengage third. Now, moving on to the craft essence suggestions. As typical, we have things like limited over 0 to increase the buster damage that Ibaraki is putting out. This will help with the 3 buster cards that she has, as well as her Noble Phantasm. Unlike some others, I would not run Victor of the Moon because Ibaraki does not have an inherent critical star gather skill, so you might want to tap out on this. Now, one of the things that you might want to look into too is things like Black Grail or Heaven's Feel, or Halloween Princess in order to increase the amount of damage that the Noble Phantasm does, because Ibaraki does pretty okay at filling up her Noble Phantasm gauge. This might be the better option to go with. Now, in terms of servants, who should Ibaraki be teaming up with? Well, I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but you want to team Ibaraki up with Hans Christian Andersen, Waver, St. George, Mashu, and Merlin. Now, these two are a little bit new to some of these, George and Mash, because, well, Ibaraki is not the most defensive or the most tanky servant in the game. So what you are going to want to do is you are going to want to run somebody who can taunt to protect and keep Ibaraki doing the damage that she needs to do. So putting a George with a Waver or a Mash with a Waver to increase all of the defensive buffs to keep Ibaraki around would be a very fantastic team setup. So overall, how do I feel about Ibaraki? I think that Ibaraki does have a very solid NP base gain. The attack up from her Demonic Nature Oni is very good for the team, and her defense down from her Noble Phantasm does help put out very good offensive damage. The 60% defense up for one turn can definitely help keep her around. However, on the con side, she does not have any hard defensive skills, and Morph A will not stop her from getting ran over by an NP boss. Her NP does remove buffs, which is great which is a great utility for the NP Brave Chains by taking away the enemy's defensive buffs, as well as potentially taking away their offensive buffs to make sure that they are not one-shotting anyone the next turn. Overall, Ibaraki is a very balanced berserker. She does not excel at any one particular place, other than wanting to have her for waifu purposes, or if you have never rolled a Hercules. I do not see a very good solid reason for her running her over a Herc. Now, she does have a little bit more team synergy. She is a little bit more balanced with the extra defensive items, but Herc does have unlimited lives and also has hard evade as well as guts. So overall, I think that if you don't have Hercules, Ibaraki is a good pickup. But if you were blessed with the Gacha Gods or early on, or you picked Hercules with your summon ticket, Hercules is going to be a much more solid pick. If you do get Ibaraki, though, while you are rolling for Mom Raikou, she's not a terrible unit, and she definitely deserves head pats after the beating that we gave her during Rashomon. So overall, is she worth your time? Well, that depends on whether or not you have a soft spot for this Banana Oni. Anyways, guys, I hope that this helped out and gave you a good idea of how to strategize and synergize your Banana Oni when you get her. And as always, I would like to give a huge shout out to all of the Patreons that help support this channel. If you would like to join the Patreon, the link is down below. You will get things like private chill streams where we get to hang out and talk while I work on videos. The other thing that you get will be exclusive Shotgun Shogun Sandwich Show streams. Anyways, guys, if you can help out the channel by hitting that subscribe button, hitting the bell notification, dropping me a like, and commenting down below with things that I can do a little bit better, or things that are working out, things that are just like, man, Shotgun Shogun, you're doing a pretty good job, dude. Thanks for that. I would very, very much appreciate it, and I will catch you guys on the next episode of whatever it is that I am going to be doing. I'll catch you guys next time. Take it easy. Peace.